you guys, it's Cayley. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Cayley. I make videos all about online reselling. So basically I go to thrift stores, I find items for a low cost that are undervalued, and I flip them on sites like eBay and Poshmark to make an income. I wanted to come on in today's video and do another 5 tips to level up as a reseller. These tips are all tips I wish I would have known from the very beginning, and had I followed them, I would have been able to level up as a reseller and really get to that next level a lot sooner than what I did. And so I wanted to share the mistakes and lessons that I've learned along the way that have been really valuable in my business. So tip number 1 is to get your listings and your shipping done the very first thing when you start your day. For me, my day in reselling starts in the morning, but for you, if you're a part-time reseller, maybe it starts when you get home from work. Either way, whenever your reselling shift starts, first thing you should always do is ship and list. Don't do anything else until you get those things done. I think a lot of times we make listing goals for ourselves, meaning how much we want to put up into our active listings, whether that's eBay and Poshmark for the day, and then we never meet them because we don't have a strict schedule to follow. A lot of the times it's just because you're getting distracted and you start doing other little things that lead you on a path of doing anything but listing. Listing and shipping are the 2 things that make you the most money in reselling and the things that absolutely have to get done. If you create a habit of always doing those 2 things first, then you'll never miss a day. This tip is mainly about listing, but I included shipping because it's another thing that absolutely has to be done for the day, and I personally like to get it done and out of the way. Listing, on the other hand, is something we could really do anytime. And because of that, a lot of us fail to get listings done every single day. So create that habit, do your listings first thing in the morning. If your daily listing habit is to get 5 up every single day, take time, do those 5 listings every single morning. I highly recommend you time yourself and then track yourself over the next couple of weeks to see how quickly you can actually get 5 listings done. The more you do it, the faster you should get, and the more time you'll have in your day to get everything else done that you wanted to do. Getting listings up means you'll have more sales, and therefore you will be more motivated to get more done. This was something that I just did when I felt I had time in the beginning, and that was a huge mistake. Now that I am consistently listing every single day, I am so much more motivated. I haven't missed a day of listing in a very long time, and my sales really show it. If you're somebody who cannot list every day, you can still get listings up every single day. So if you can only actually list, let's say, Saturday and Sunday each week, but you need to set listings through the whole week, you can actually schedule those, or just go ahead and get them ready in your drafts and set them live every single day. But no matter what, whenever you're setting them live, do it the very first thing. Tip number 2 is that failing at shipping is worth the lesson. So this could really go for any platform, but I would say the platform that has the hardest shipping is eBay. And a lot of people never start eBay. Why? Because they're afraid of shipping. I'm gonna be honest, when I started shipping, I walked into the post office, I had a video game of my own that I had sold, and I said, hey, I want to ship this. The post office clerk laughed at me. He was actually kind of rude, but you know what? I learned a lesson that day. I got that item shipped. I actually put it in a padded flat rate envelope, even though it would have gone first class. I paid way too much for shipping, but I tried. And once I shipped out my first item, I realized it was really not that hard. Nowadays, I ship on my own. I print my own labels. I ship out using eBay. When I first started shipping online and doing my own labels, I had no idea what I was doing. But the more and more I did it and the more shipping mistakes that I made, the easier it was to learn, and it really did not take that long to get a grasp of what's the best way to ship, what's the most cost effective. And I've also had lessons on shipping breakables. The point of the matter is you've just got to try it. Get in there, sell your first item, get into the shipping, and just learn how it works. It can be very painful at first, but I promise it's not as hard as you think. So failing at shipping is worth the lesson, because once you do it over and over and over again, you'll start to become an expert. And again, Most of the time, the reason people don't try eBay or sometimes even other platforms is because they are terrified of shipping and they don't know how it works. Get in there, get started, because especially on eBay, it has the most users on their platform if you're selling used clothing. Poshmark, Mercari, all of those can't really compare to the views that you're going to get on eBay. So if shipping is what's holding you back, get in there and make those mistakes. In fact, failing at anything is worth the lesson. Next tip is to know your time limits and what you can reasonably get done in a day. Set yourself goals that you know you're going to achieve. So in the beginning, I would think, okay, I'm gonna list 5 items, I'm gonna get my shipping done, I'm gonna photograph for the next day, and I'm gonna go sourcing. And that literally never happened. It wasn't until I started timing myself and knowing my actual limits and how quickly I could get things done that I started setting more reasonable expectations for myself. And so if I know I need to list quite a bit that day, I know there's no way that I'm going sourcing. Knowing my time limits and knowing what I can reasonably get done in a day really helps me to compact all of my tasks and get things done in bulk and set this task aside for this day and this task aside for this day. If my goals are reasonable and I can pretty easily achieve them, then I'm going to continue being motivated because I'm knocking off everything on my checklist. It's when we add too much on our plate and then we don't get half of our list done in a day that reselling becomes very unmotivating. You don't want to create a habit of feeling like you're a failure. Half of being successful is just convincing yourself that you're motivated to do the work. I will also say, just personally for myself, I find that if I put too much on my plate in one day, then I'm rushing. If I end up going sourcing, even though I really didn't have enough time to, I find myself rushing and making bad buying decisions. So set yourself reasonable expectations, reasonable time goals, and reasonable tasks that you can expect to get done in the day. Next tip is to do weekly or monthly bookkeeping. I say this a lot and I feel like people are going to hear this in the video and just kind of tune out. But guys, if you don't know your numbers, if you don't have your thumb on things, if you don't have a grasp of how much you're spending, how much things are selling for, how much fees are, how much shipping costs, then you might be awfully surprised that you're doing all this work but making no money. So besides the fact that we need accurate bookkeeping for tax time at the end of the year, it is actually more important that you do your bookkeeping again weekly or monthly. That way you know your numbers, you know what you're spending, you know if you need to adjust in your business. If you're not doing that, you probably have no idea what your actual profit is at the end of each month. If you're like me, when I first started, I never thought this would turn into an actual business. And so I didn't keep very good record of what I was buying and how much things were selling for. I had no idea on what the fees were. I just kind of let them calculate on their own on each platform. It wasn't until I started doing actual bookkeeping and looking into my numbers that I realized there were a few areas in my business that I needed to adjust, being that cost of goods, or do I make a minimum on how much something should sell for? Maybe I need to shop at the bins for a little bit to get my cost of goods down. Whatever it is in your business, you will not know what that is until you actually do the calculations and know your numbers and where you are at. And sometimes when you do your bookkeeping, you might actually be pleasantly surprised that, I'm actually doing a lot better than I thought. So weekly or monthly, but either way, do not wait until the last minute. And the last tip I have for you is to pay for services if they save you time and you'll be making X amount of dollars. If you were doing all those calculations that I just talked about, you should know how much you're getting paid per your time. So let's say you make $20 an hour or $50 an hour. If paying for a service, meaning somebody to share for you, somebody to list for you, someone to take pictures for you, someone to send out offers, if you can pay someone or a service to do those things at, let's say, $10 an hour, but you know in reselling you make $20 an hour, then it's worth it to pay for this service so that you can get more done. I hope that makes sense. For a long time, I did not purchase services because I was really afraid of spending the money and not getting it back. It wasn't until I looked at it at an hourly rate that I realized I would actually be making more money by paying someone else to do it at a more affordable rate than it was for me to take up my time doing those tasks. Another way to look at this is, let's say you want to pay for the $49 a month business plan from List Perfectly. List Perfectly is a cross-posting tool. It can move your items from eBay to Poshmark, Poshmark to eBay, Mercari, there's a bunch of different platforms. But let's say you're worried about paying $49 a month for this service. One way to look at that is, can I make $49 worth of sales by using the service to pay for the cost of that service? For me, my average selling price is between $30 and $40 usually. So I really only need to sell 2 to 3 items to make up for paying for that service. And if I'm cross-posting items from eBay on over to Poshmark, I'm getting a lot more views, and more than likely I am going to sell 2 to 3 items that month on Poshmark. So if you don't want to look at it in an hourly rate, or if you don't know your hourly rate, that is another way that you can look at paying for a service. But for the longest time, I refused to pay for a service or to get help because I was worried about the cost. Once I started hiring out help, paying for these awesome services, I realized that I make so much more money by getting the help that I needed. Now, I'm not telling you to jump off this video and go pay for a bunch of services, but really look into your own numbers and see if it is worth it for you. You might be holding yourself back by refusing to pay for services or to get help. I'm thinking about doing a video soon on all of the services that I use and the help that I get. If you're interested in that, drop a comment down below. And if you are interested in any of the services that I'm currently using in my business, there are links below, affiliate links with coupon codes. You can check those out in the description of this video. All right, guys, so I think I'm gonna end it here. That is 5 tips to level up your business. And again, things that I wish I would have learned a lot sooner. Hope that you guys enjoyed watching. If you're not already subscribed and you would like to be, don't forget to hit the subscription button down below, as well as the notification bell. That way you get notified as I make new content. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.